Okay, we're back. That's right, Brandon. You think she likes me because I'm from New York? No, she likes you because you're from Philly. Always remember that. Remember that. Okay. Brandon, we're back at it. It's the pod, and we're gonna break down the Super Bowl because, as the sign says behind me, I have some feelings that are hurt towards the game. It was a good game, but I do think some highway robbery could have occurred. We have some proof, maybe not good proof, but some proof we can provide today, Brandon. But before we jump into breaking down Super Bowl, what's good? How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm going through the woes of after the NFL season,
Never good.
watching like stuff about the NFL, like free agency stuff, and
Yeah,
just like it just feels so far away. Like I looked at a
I
thing today, it
know.
says NFL is like 197 days away. I'm like, damn,
Damn,
it's like rip. I'm
that's too
I'm
many
on my
days.
I'm on my hockey ish right now, right now,
All
bro.
right, all
Watching
right.
hockey, betting hockey, doing okay right now.
I love it. You just need some aggression in your sports life. You need people
Yes,
who
that's
can
what I
hit each
need, bro.
other. Yeah, there's something about
Basketball's
hitting.
not rough enough, bro. You know?
No, I need the 1990s basketball if I'm gonna watch that shit again. Because right
Yeah.
now it is soft. Not only is it soft, like I think
No one
Austin
plays.
Rivers, huh?
I said no one plays. That's my biggest like
No
whoa,
one
especially
plays.
betting
Yeah,
basketball. It's like you don't know who's gonna play, and like at that point, like when they are playing together, they have no fucking chemistry. So they barely play
totally.
together.
Totally. And I think Austin Rivers was on some podcast talking about like how this age of basketball is just not the same. Like even I think we can speak to this, Brandon. You played all 4 years. I played two years and then played some travel ball. But when we were in that, like at the time, like the ball is life and all those mixtapes were like huge. You had to be a baller, a stud to get one of those mixtapes, you know?
Yeah.
And Austin Rivers was saying like how nowadays, like you have 8-year-old kids getting mixtapes and
Oh yeah,
like
not the same.
yeah, and it's not the same. Like you don't have to be that dude. You just have to like cross over a couple times, make a couple wild wacky shots, but like you're probably not getting the full scope of this motherfucker not playing defense, not doing the right passing, like like maybe he's not good with his teammates. There's a
Yeah.
whole spectrum. And now it's like anyone,
Yeah.
hoop mixtape, you know?
Back when they're like when we were in high school, if you were getting mixed it, you're like borderline
Dude,
all American, or
All
you were all
American,
American. Yeah.
100%. All American, and you were going to Duke, you were going to
Yeah.
North Carolina, like
Yeah.
yeah, you were looked at like as the next thing. Now like you can toss those things away cuz I heard too like parents and AAU coaches and all that are paying for mixtapes for their players. Yeah, so you can pay for these now. It's not even like a meritocracy where, they come out and like, damn, we just heard about this kid and he's just that good. We're gonna make a mixtape for him, Like now it's payments. Like I think that's just
I didn't know that.
it's been bastardized, man. Like the game of basketball has been so corporatized. And like if you see all these videos of these kids now playing, they're all doing this and like too little, all that,
Oh, and they're
like
doing that. They're like in like
yeah,
grade school, elementary school, or like middle
exactly.
school doing that.
Exactly. Exactly. So you could tell how our kids act is how what the culture's like and what our best and brightest are putting out there.
Yeah. So it's like, and all these kids like watching NBA stars sitting out games. They're like, and they're gonna most of them are gonna approach their careers that way. Like, oh, I want a long
Exactly.
career, so I'm gonna be trying to
Exactly.
load manage as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's caused such a problem. Like even if the NBA were to cut the amount of games in a season, they would still load manage for that new amount of like games. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like they would be like, oh, I played 20 less or 10 less games. I'm gonna play all of them now. No. They would adjust to the new schedule and they would probably sit out. But enough basketball. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, Brandon.
Super
It
Bowl.
was it was like I think one of the better Super Bowls. It was not what I expected on either side. Eagles could not get any pressure on the defensive
Oh,
front. They couldn't run the football. Jalen
oh,
Hurts was the MVP,
oh.
basically. And the only thing that stayed true, and I spent all weekend telling people that I knew, if your only argument for why the Chiefs are going to win is you have the better quarterback, you have Patrick Mahomes, well, then that's not a good argument. Well, boy, was I wrong. because that man did it again. He makes the plays. He doesn't matter if the cheetah's out there. It doesn't matter if Juju's out there. You can put anyone on that receiving core, and he just shines. I mean, that guy impressed the shit out of me. Jalen Hurts impressed the shit out of me, but I was sure of the fact that the Eagles were going to win, and I was sure of the fact that they were going to dominate the front ends on both sides, and that did not occur. So, the tip of the cap to the Chiefs, but I mean, I don't know. Let's break it down a little bit, because the first half, going into halftime, Eagles are up 24-14, correct?
Yeah, up by
Yes.
10. Yep.
And they overturn that huge catch by Devontae Smith that should have been a catch. There's not enough conclusive evidence on any of those that I saw, like any replays, anything like that, that would have pointed to me that yes, like this should have been overturned. You know, like
What was
objectively,
it ruled on the field? I forget. Was it ruled a catch or was it ruled an incompletion?
I
Like
think it
on the
was ruled
field?
a catch.
Yeah.
It was
So
ruled
that's
a
at
catch, and then
that point.
they
At that
overturned
point,
it.
it's hard for that to overturn, in my opinion. But
Exactly.
yeah,
So instead of going up 28-14 at half, they go up 24-14 at half,
yeah,
which is game
a big
changing,
difference.
right?
Yeah,
So what did you think? You are not a fan of either team. I guess you do hate the Chiefs,
I do dislike
but
the Chiefs,
you do dislike the Chiefs.
which is
But you
why I was
were
about to push
exactly
back on the Mahomes stuff. But it's like then again, am I being
right,
rational? Yeah.
right. But give me your take on this whole game, and how you took it.
My take is I really thought that the Eagles were going to be able to run the ball on them, and
Yeah,
boy was I wrong about that.
right,
I took Miles Sanders as MVP. I like plus 2,200, and
right,
like that was just like with after first play of the game he ran it and he fumbled out of bounds. Like ooh, Miles Sanders
right.
like Miles Sanders didn't come off like as a tough like very physical running back. He kind of seems like a more of like a finesse kind of running back, but like,
Mm-hmm.
he one he didn't get a lot of opportunity, and two he just every time he got the ball he wasn't able to do anything. So it
Right.
was mostly Jalen that was consistent of the run game. Also, I feel
Very
like
true.
Miles Sanders lost his chance of getting re-signed in that game by having a shit game. Like
I
your
think so
last game
too.
of the season, like you're a free agent on the Super Bowl, like, you don't show up. That's not good. That's not good.
That's not good at all. Not only did he not show up, like down the stretch, they were leaning on Kenny Gainwell a lot on playoff
Yeah,
games. You
Gainwell was
know,
doing way better than them. The
way
times I
better. Like,
wasn't. Yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, we'll get to that in our free agency pod, but that man does not look like he could be returning as a Philadelphia Eagle. Um,
yeah.
so we'll see though. But what else did you get from this game? Was like in the first half, did you think all birds, or did you see some holes?
I first half I was still thinking all birds. When we were up 10, I was like, oh, I feel like I feel like I feel like at no point the Chiefs defense couldn't stop. I feel like they couldn't stop the Eagles.
Right.
I think the Eagles only punted once, and that was at the fourth quarter.
Right.
But only other time they really stopped him when Hurts like fumbled the ball and like lost it, which is like that sucks. That was such a crucial moment, that fumble for the touchdown.
I know. That was,
But
and it's not even forced fumble, you know?
yeah, I really
Yeah. That
think
was uncharacteristic of him.
I really I honestly don't think that, like, even still now, I still don't think that as a team, I still think the Eagles are a better team. I think there were
Yeah.
certain scenarios that happened, like that fumble and like those missed coverages, which is just partially coaching. Like
Right.
two back to back the same play essentially. That's just like not even close to the guy. That's just coaching. Then like if that game was to be this Sunday again, knowing the outcome of what just happened, I'd bet on the Eagles again. I would bet on the Eagles again.
Right. Yeah.
You
Because
know
it
what I
still
mean?
felt like it felt like the right side.
Yeah. We play on like
And
a normal field.
yeah. Right.
I'm still taking the Eagles. I don't care.
Yeah. They look like the better team. Like, I mean, as much as I said, they weren't dominating on offensive, defensive lines, like,
Yeah.
it was still like they were matching them blow by blow, and Jalen kept showing up, kept making the passes, kept like breaking the pocket when needed, and it was. I was shocked. I was really thinking run heavy, Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, like you said, but you put some money on these props that you're just like, oh, it's gonna happen. I mean, I was putting Miles Sanders to have 40 plus rush yards in like almost all my same game
Yeah, I
parlays.
had that. I had Miles Sanders touchdown at least I think 4 different
Exactly,
same game parlays.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it was the play was always Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Like it was
Yes,
always the any Hurts.
bro. So on one of my parlays, I had Jalen Hurts first touchdown scorer.
Mm.
So when I saw the Boston, was it Boston Scott or was it Gainwell?
It
On
was
that,
Gainwell that went
he was
in.
like right on the line. They didn't call. I was like, oh fuck! And then they called. I was like, yes, this is gonna be a Jalen
Yes.
Hurts touchdown. And it was. I was like, fuck yeah! But
You're going
I ended
off.
up losing that because I needed the Eagles. I think it was for the $300. I needed Eagles to win by 1.5, and I would have won like 320.
Damn.
Yeah,
Birds couldn't pull through for you, bro.
but yeah, man. Also, I feel
Well,
like I would have liked the Eagles to, because their front four are so good, so they a lot of times they don't really blitz. I would have liked to see them throw a little bit more pressure a couple of times.
100%.
I feel like
Yeah.
how many? I feel like they must have blitzed under like 3 times or 4 times.
I mean, if it was a blitz, they was sending one more man. There was not
Yeah,
like a 2 or 3 extra dudes or like
I don't.
all out. Like it was never that.
Yeah, I would like to just throw them a couple of different looks. You know what I mean? Like
100%, dude. Like as much as you want to stick to what's got you there, and your front four can get after them. Like, okay, you got to make an adjustment when you see and you're hearing players. I mean, they talk on the sideline. They're probably going up to the coach. They see him changing cleats. Like, okay, my players are slipping. Obviously, we can't get to the quarterback as we would like. The Chiefs are playing a little better than we thought, and we're slipping. So let's add a couple more pressures here. And that was one thing I think goes under the radar. Like Jonathan Gannon, for all that he did well through the playoffs and all that he did well through the regular season, one thing that could be said, and maybe one thing that bit the Eagles in the end, was they were up always throughout the year. I mean, they
yeah,
always had these big leads, so they never had to adjust.
they never
They
had
never
to
really
put.
had to. Yeah,
They never playing from behind. They're always playing
exactly.
from a
And
lead.
they never had to just make that like, okay, we're like see it and make an adjustment. I'm sure a couple of times, but not like to the fact where you're in the biggest game of the year and your players are slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like constantly. So yeah, I mean, he's now taking the job with the Cardinals, but that guy did a good job. And I think he was not super loved in Philly, like just following Eagles Twitter, and people were, I mean, kind of stoked to see him go, like low key. So but
It's
he was
probably
a
just because
stud.
off of that last game. That's why there's
Exactly,
just
and it's like, it's
short sighted.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's that bias, that like primary bias, whatever that word is. I can't
Yeah,
think of it right now.
just like how
But
everyone wanted, as soon as the Chargers lost, everyone wanted Steely gone. But it's like
exactly, or
obviously
like once,
we wanted Sean Payton, but it's like
yeah, yeah,
once we can't get good, I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, who are we
right,
gonna sign now?
exactly, yeah. But okay, so I mean, the one thing we should talk about, which my sign does say got robbed, the 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 notorious flag, the flag that probably shouldn't have gotten thrown. I can't believe the refs wanted to dictate the outcome of that game. I mean, that's what they did, because if they kick a field goal, the Eagles are coming down and making it at least interesting. If not tying it, if not something's happening where it's going to make it a little interesting. So I don't know if Sideline's got a call from upstairs. Roger watching the game, a little sauced up, going, I want my boy Patty to win. I need my next Brady. So you don't know. Some of these things will maybe come out one day in a book, a biography, something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
It was a hard one, Brandon.
that
It was a hard one.
that holding play happens in like 80% of like plays in the NFL.
Literally, and
Like
that
that
wasn't
that
even
that kind of like
egregious,
soft contact, like where he. I
right?
mean, I think there is one like clip where you can somewhat see him like getting the jersey, but like that, like that's just like physical play, like and just like I don't know
Just
that
yeah,
in that moment of the game. I don't think you call that. I think you swallow your whistle. I really don't think you call that.
yeah. I don't think that should be called at all. Like, I mean, I know you can't take this into consideration because they are trying to make it a new rule that, past 5 yards, you can't be touching the receiver and all that. But
Yeah,
that ball was out of bounds,
yeah.
completely uncatchable.
That was like if not out of bounds, it was like very corner of the end zone. Like Juju was not getting that
Hmm.
from where he was.
Not at all. That was not a catchable football. Like, just in the biggest game of the year. Let's use some, I don't know. Let's use our brains a little bit. Let's get together and go, hey boys, I know we got some illegal contact here, but that ball was not being caught. It looked like Patrick was throwing it
I th-
away, if anything.
I think that's one where, like, you know how sometimes they'll huddle real quick before they make a call. I feel like that's one
Yeah,
where the guy like looks at it, like he gets together, huddles real quick, and like, what did you see? Blah blah blah, and then you could
right.
like, even though it'd be super late, the flag
Yep,
after they did
yep,
that, but like, I I feel like but I feel like if they huddle up, they probably don't call it. You know what I mean? I was
right.
watching that. I was just like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, fuck holding. That's fucking. I was like, that's bullshit.
I couldn't believe it. I was going crazy. We third down stop, perfect, and then I see flag. I'm like, no way, no
Bro, I wish
way.
like at the end when Jerry McKinnon like slid down, I wish someone was like before he slid down, picked him up and just threw him in the end
Threw
zone.
him in.
Fucking Brandon Graham just picks him up, throw him in the end zone,
Honestly, just throws ass in there
dunks him
like
in the end zone,
literally just like
fucking
Undertaker's him right into the end zone.
suplexes him
Yes.
backwards, just
I just think the Eagles couldn't have made that a little less more like under the radar that they were trying to let him score. It was just way too obvious that they were going to let him walk into the end zone, and that's
yeah,
why he's like, oh, okay, I should probably slide here. They're not letting they're making me they're just letting me score. Like that doesn't seem right. So I
yeah,
think that automatically rang some bells. Okay, the game fucking sucked for an Eagles fan. Game as a fan of football was great to watch.
great, yeah.
But how about that halftime show, man? What do you think? Were
It's
you on
pretty
it?
lit.
Did you like
It's
it?
pretty lit. She
Right?
like
Not
went through her
bad.
whole like catalog of hits. Like, let's be honest, like all of her hits she went through.
Dude, we were watching that and going like, she's getting all the hits right now. Like she's bringing us back to 2000 something, you know?
Bro, the highest peak of viewership was during halftime show, and that was the highest it
And
was
then
all,
that's
and then
hilarious.
dipped
That's
back.
hilarious.
I was listening to the radio, Colin Cowherd. He said like the amount of people who stopped watching like during the fourth quarter is actually like insane. He said like came fourth quarter and like the numbers went down. Like, how does that make any
How does
sense?
that?
How you just like watch Super Bowl? No, I'm good. I'm gonna stop watching the
I don't
most
want to see how this
important
ends.
quarter. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like I don't know how like reporting is right, but that's what he
Like, let me
said.
put that in perspective. That's like starting a Netflix series and at the final episode going like, nah, I'm
Nah,
good.
yeah, like nah, I'm good.
Nah, I don't really care how this one ends. Like, you just invested how many hours of your life to then just okay. So,
Seriously,
um, next year's Super Bowl is in Vegas. Another, I mean, just lit area. That's gonna be
oh, it's gonna
crazy.
be
I'm sure.
insane, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure prices right now for that time of year is already reflecting just like the madness that will ensue
It's
in
gonna
Las
be
Vegas.
so crazy.
The amount of betting casinos, the amount of sports books, the amount of bars, the amount of you name it. There's going to be so many eyeballs that the time of year in Vegas. Like, friends, boys, if you're listening, that might be a trip of a lifetime. You get what I'm saying?
Honestly, I feel like every 5 years the Super Bowl should be in Vegas.
It should just be like a new ritual, especially with that beautiful stadium.
Bro, I was listening to a part of my take,
Mm.
and they said in 2027, Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day.
What?
Yeah, bro. Like they're saying, like everyone is gonna be in the doghouse. All men will be in the
Oh my
doghouse.
god, that's going to be the worst year ever.
Yeah, right. Honestly,
We're all going to have to do the I swear we'll do it
I swear
earlier.
we'll
Our
do it.
next year is going to be the biggest yet.
Or you gotta just
Fucking
like
dumb.
plan something ahead.
NFL, you know what you need to do. You got to adjust. You know, all men out there, it matters a lot.
Yeah,
There's no way they're going to have their lady sit down all day just to call it the Super Bowl unless it's a great halftime show. Because if they can
yeah.
get some sort of attraction, they can go, hey, I want, let's watch a halftime show. During that, we'll like make a charcuterie board. We'll make a little date out of it. Maybe you can catch
Charcuterie
her, bro.
board.
Maybe you can catch her, bro. Maybe you can catch her.
Oh
I'm telling
shit.
you. Okay. Okay. Do you want to talk about the Sod Father?
I would love to talk about the Sod Fire and the Sod Gate, the
Sod
corruption
Gate.
that's going on in the NFL.
It's there's some corruption through the form of grass, folks. I think the NFL might have rigged the game. Maybe not the NFL, but maybe a rogue, a rogue fan, a rogue lifelong Kansas City fan who was employed by the NFL. What are you gonna
And
say?
this
What do you got?
is his send off game. This is his last Super Bowl that he was doing.
Last Super Bowl he's gonna do as a member of I mean, he's going to live on. Obviously, he's not dying, but he's just no longer going to create sod in the grass for the Super Bowl. And he's been a lifelong Chiefs fan. And he said to, I think in an interview, he said, if I had two hearts, I would one would be for the Chiefs and one would be for the Eagles. And I think Barstool did a great job. They go, hey, do you have two hearts? No, you don't. You just have one. So what does that mean? The sod father was going for the Chiefs. And the biggest concern I had in this whole video, if you go on Part of My Takes Instagram page, it's a fucking hilarious video and it's very informative, is that the Chiefs did not have to change their cleats, not once during the game, but the Eagles changed their cleats on multiple occasions. And they went so deep on the Part of My Take video to calculate the amount of slippages the Eagles had versus the Chiefs. And it was, as you could tell, vastly different.
Suspect.
So, did the Chiefs have some knowledge from the sod father prior to the game, letting them know what kind of grass, what kind of cleats, what kind of spikes you would like to use? And did it not go to the other locker room for gamesmanship purposes? I think yes, but we'll never know. The sod father will go to his grave with that. And I hope that he one day comes clean and lets the world know that he might have tipped him off a little bit, because it really pisses me off. That's why Eagles got robbed right behind me. It's very serious.
They got cheated. Serious. Simple as that.
Very.
Not only refused to accept defeat, they cheated.
Yep. And not only in the grass, but on that sorry ass play call by you referees. Y'all should be ashamed. Your wife should have came to you at night and be like, you pussy. You should have let the game played out. You should have cowered in the corner as the silly, sorry man you are. You know what, NFL? You need to get some younger, clear-eyed officials out there. We have too many old motherfuckers calling games and feeling like they're entitled to making this game theirs, okay? So we need some new blood. Brandon, we're going to do a free agency pod next up. Do you have anything else on this Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl?
Just all I want to say is Patrick Mahomes, mediocre. That's all I want to say.
Mediocre. You better hope so next year, baby, because that AFC is stacked.
So, oh, God. Don't give me
stacked.
I'll be hedging my pain by betting Chargers to miss the playoffs.
There you go. That's the way to do it right there.
Believe it.
I might do that with the Eagles because from first to last.
You've seen you guys, before. Let's be honest. You guys are going to make the playoffs next year in the NFC.
It's Jalen Hurts. That guy is for real. Yeah. I heard the next day he went to Philly and was in their fucking training room lifting weights, working out.
Fucking thug. Love that.
Unfucking believable.
Fucking love that.
Unbelievable.
Squatting 600 pounds like a fucking animal, probably.
Eating fucking raw meat and eggs every day. Hear me? All right. We're rolling out to this song, Brandon.
Oh shit, Soul Survivor.
Yeah, it's throwback. I'm a soul. That's right, baby. All right, next up, Brandon. It's free agency time, man. We know what the fuck's going on here. Peace, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah.